important aspect of today's world and global phenomenon is climate change. All the countries are afraid of the climate change that is happening, and it is really true that climate change is occurring. So, when we consider certain parameters, whether it's occurring or it is only an illusion, so when we take certain elements that are existing on the earth that can be gauged, so such as changes in the carbon dioxide concentration of the atmosphere, changes in the rainfall pattern, so changes in the height of the sea level, changes in the occurrence of the flow of the rivers, distribution of the rainfall, intensity of the rainfall, whatever the weather parameters we take. So it is giving a certain significant or throwing light on us to introspect about the changes that are occurring on this globe, and this we call the climate change. So before we understand climate change in detail, we need to understand certain small elements which are confined to that of the climate. We know that so climate includes the average of the weather phenomena. So fundamentally, what is weather? Weather is the basically it is a day-to-day phenomenon or a phenomenon of the atmosphere, the physics of the atmosphere which can be studied. So the parameters, when we take any parameter such as temperature or atmospheric pressure, etc., whatever the wind velocity, any parameter if you take into account, and if you take that particular parameter for a small period of time or a small geographical area starting from 1 square kilometer to 10 square kilometers or to the confined to the small extent of area and a small period of time starting from a single day to 1 week, etc., and these changes we call it as the weather. That is one of the reasons why we conventionally use the terminology weather. How is the weather situation at Cincinnati? How is the weather situation at New Delhi? How is the weather situation at Bangalore, etc.? It denotes that the position of the climate at a period of time. When we summate these weather phenomenon for a longer period of time, for example, if you take for an entire season, winter season, kharif season, rabi, in case of agriculture, rabi season or summer season, etc., and we call this averages together as a climate. So climate and weather are being basically distinguished based on the length of time period we are taking into account and also based on the geographical space we are taking into account. And why this terminology, the other terminology that has come in recent years is changes that are occurring in the climate change. So before understand the climate change, we need to understand one important aspect is climate variability. So variability, this denotes the, so we have already discussed about the climate. So when we take any particular parameter, for example, if we take temperature into consideration, so how the temperature is varying. So when we take temperature, for example, now we are in 2020. So when we take the temperature from 2010 onwards, 10, 11 like that to 2020, and how this particular parameter of temperature is varying, and when we summate this temperature, so this when we take this for a particular locality, since the weather is varying and it is a summation, we call it as a climate, and how it is varying from year to year, and when we consider this particular parameter, we call this as a variability that is existing in the climate. Definitely climate will be varying, that is of no doubt, but when we consider this variability for a longer period of time, for example, when we consider this variability for more than 10 years of time, earlier we used to consider for 30 years period of time, but since the changes are occurring in a quick span of time, and intergovernmental panel on climate change, so all over the world the panel has been formed that we call as a intergovernmental panel on climate change, and this has advised to take the parameters for 10 years period of time, and when you take this 10 years period of time into consideration, and when you take that particular variability, for example, here I have drawn a graph, and consider the same temperature change that is existing. Of course, there will not be so much variability, but there is a small marginal increase in temperature of the globe. This variation that are existing and persisting for a longer period of time, it should persist. It should persist, and if that variability persists for longer period of time, then only we call it as a climate change. And this is truly happening, and certain parameters of the climate or atmospheric are varying. The most thing that has been found globally is change in the concentration of the carbon dioxide. So when we see the data that is available, almost many of the weather parameters have been started taking scientifically, data has been collected in the almost 150 years ago, data has been collected. So there are records of
carbon dioxide concentration that was existing on the globe during 1850s onwards, and there were records of recording of the maximum temperature of the globe, minimum temperature of the globe, and of course in this 20th century it has become a common phenomenon to make record of all the weather parameters, all the changes that are occurring. And when we study this and whatever the changes that is occurring on this globe, it has been found out that the carbon dioxide is one single element which has been significantly changed. So earlier during 1850s it was supposed to be around 280 ppm or 0.028%. We generally call it as a 0.028%. When we express in terms of parts per million, it is around 280 ppm, more approximately. So on today's concentration of the world and is around 0.039%. So which indicates that it is almost 390 ppm. 390 ppm is the carbon dioxide concentration, and astonishingly it has been recorded that the increase in rate of availability of the carbon dioxide globally is 1 ppm per year. So from the year 1995 onwards it has been increasing at a rate of 1 ppm per year, and which is not a small amount when we consider the life of the man existing on this globe. So for the past millions of years it was almost static in nature, but abruptly in the 21st century and the end of the 20th century these phenomena are occurring. And is very clearly noticed in the terms of the change in the carbon dioxide concentration. And as already told you that it is being increased at the rate of 1 ppm per year from 1995 onwards, and recent statistics tell that it is being increasing at a rate of 1.5 ppm. So it is increasing more exponentially, and it is a great threat to our life. Here we should think of the reasons why there is increased carbon dioxide concentration. There are many reasons are there. One of the prime reason is whatever the organic sources are existing on this globe, the main fossil fuels that are existing on this globe are being sent into the atmosphere by burning of carbon. And once if you burn the carbon, it will be liberated into carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. And fossil fuels are being burned not only for the industrial purpose. After all, this entire globe has seen industrial revolution only in the 19th century. Prior to that there was no industrial revolution. Everything was almost organic in nature, and or it was in wholesome to the natural system that was existing. So the carbon fixation was equal to that of the emissions that were existing. And this particular word you should remember, it is also called as climate neutral. Climate neutral, anyway we will discuss climate neutral. So today's world, most of the fossil fuels are being burned for the reasons of industry, for the reasons of vehicle usage, for the reasons of transportation, even space transportation, for the reasons of power generation. It has become an important contribution. Almost around 17 to 20% is being contributed towards power generation. Likewise, entire fossil fuels are being burned. So there only the only agent we have got on this globe is the only beautiful agent is the plant which can bring back the carbon dioxide of the atmosphere back to earth, and by in terms of carbon dioxide fixation, or this we also scientifically call it as carbon sequestration. So here as an agriculture graduate we need to make a very big role. So because after all this carbon dioxide can be brought back into the atmosphere, so from the atmosphere to the ground only through plants or through the agents that are available in the sea surface, including whatever the algal organisms that are occurring, or whatever the organisms that are involved in the activity of photosynthesis. These agents are alone bringing the carbon dioxide, and unfortunately in recent years the quantity of the emission is more than that of the quantity of the fixation. So this has resulted in increased carbon dioxide concentration. And similarly, what are the consequences of this? This is most important. So yes, climate change is occurring and it is being clearly noticed in terms of carbon dioxide concentration. When you take the other elements, there is no much change. When we take the oxygen concentration of the atmosphere, which is almost 21%, or nitrogen percentage almost 78%, these are almost static and they are almost inert to that of the global warming. And people are also discussing about the important terminology of the global warming or greenhouse effect. So all these are interrelated to each other. All these are interrelated to each other. And global warming or greenhouse effect in toto means it is the increased temperature of the globe. Increased temperature of the globe due to the reasons of entrapping of the energy. Everything is being constituted by energy in terms of the balance of the energy. The only source of energy for this entire globe is solar radiation, and we receive the solar radiation and it is the main source of energy, and whatever the radiation that has been reached to the earth surface, it will be emitted back into the atmosphere. This is the normal phenomenon, and since it is being emitted, the radiations that are being emitted in terms of long wave radiations or infrared radiations are being entrapped by the atmospheric gases that are present in the troposphere, which is mainly made by the carbon dioxide concentration and also water vapor. Water vapor is also one of the important greenhouse gases, and these greenhouse gases, as it is, they are a boon to the globe, definitely. Without these greenhouse gases, the earth temperature might have been around minus 18 degrees centigrade, which might have resulted for non-existence of the living organisms on this globe. But fortunately, this globe earth is being surrounded by greenhouse gases. But what is happening in recent years is the quantity of these greenhouse gases, the percentage of these greenhouse gases has increased. So the entrapping of the heat has been increased. So naturally, the temperatures are increasing. The temperatures are increasing at a rate of 0.5 degrees centigrade for the past 40 years. It has increased by 0.5 degree. It may look smaller, but when we take into accounts the theory of the melting of the snows, melting of the ice, etc., all of us know that a small thing, specific heat of water. I think we remember the specific heat of water. So the specific heat of water, we tell it to be around 1 degree centigrade per every 1 gram of water. That is, to raise the temperature of the water by 1 degree centigrade, we need 1 calorie of energy. We need 1 calorie of energy. So what is happening is, imagine that if the entire global temperature is being increased by 0.5 degrees centigrade, it is a huge amount of energy. So it has got so much of potential in terms of melting of the snows and in terms of increasing of the temperature of the water bodies. Once if you increase the temperature and due to more energy, the molecules becomes expanded, water molecules becomes expanded. So it is a two-way relationship. That is, there is increased sea level only due to the reasons of increased global temperature due to two reasons. One is, by increased temperature, the water is being expanded. The second reason is there is a melting of the snows, and finally there is an increase in sea level rising. This is also one of the parameters which is deflecting the climate change. So it has been gauged or assessed that, so we have got certain systems which can measure the tidal heights, so on the sea surface or ocean surfaces, and it has been measured that the sea level has been rising at a rate of 1.7 mm per year until 2000 year. From 2000 years, almost 20 years back ago, so the rate of increasing of the sea level is supposed to be close to 3 mm. So here also there has been a exponential increase in the sea level heights. So this is a great threat to the areas which are very adjoining to the water bodies of the globe and also low-lying areas of the globe. So if the situation continues, in future we may see certain countries inundated under the water surface itself. So such is a great threat. And similarly, when we come to the aspects of agriculture, how this climate change is going to affect the agriculture, so there are two theories are there. One is, we speak of the climate change mainly in terms of carbon dioxide concentration, and increased carbon dioxide concentration should definitely favor the plant, because after all carbon dioxide is one of the major inputs for crop production. So it should increase the productivity. This is one theory, many of the people will contest that. So it is going to increase the production is one aspect. But actually it is not alone the carbon dioxide concentration, but we have to also take into consideration the other weather elements such as increased temperature. So even though there has been increased carbon dioxide and increased photosynthetic activity, the other bad consequence is increased global temperatures are also aiding for increased photorespiration. So the increased carbon dioxide concentration, the benefits have been countered by the increased temperature. So there will not be any positive effect. This is the second theory. So there will not be any positive effect by increased carbon dioxide levels, and increased temperatures, if it goes beyond the cardinal limits of the plants. We all know that every plant has its cardinal limits of minimum temperature, optimum temperature and maximum temperature, and if the temperatures go beyond the cardinal limits, it may obstruct the plant productivity. So there is a great threat, and it may also lead to that of the shifting of the entire ecosystem or the entire adaptability of the plants. So we may see that certain of the tropical crops which are being raised now may have to be cultivated in subtropics, and subtropical crops may have to be cultivated in the temperate, for our understanding we can consider. So there will be shift in that of the crop existence in the locality. And similarly, when we see the temperatures, the climate changes are occurring in two ways. So one is when you come to that of the tropical regions, where almost 30% of the global population is existing in the tropics itself. So and productivity of the crops is already lower in nature. So here it has been found that so there have been major disturbances in the environment in terms of the increased rainfalls. So this is also one theory. People who are telling that there will be decreased rainfall, but the theory, other school of thought is there will be increased rainfalls. The simple reason is it is also going to disturb the hydrological cycle of the globe, and for an agriculture graduate, the hydrological cycle is one to be remembered closely and to be followed. So whatever the quantity of the water that gets evaporated, virtually more amount of water gets evaporated due to higher temperature, global temperature, and once the water gets evaporated, it has to condense in the form of clouds or and then it has to get precipitated either as snow or in terms of rainfall, whatever may be the form of precipitation. So there are fair chances for increased rainfalls, and increased rainfalls. So the other theory is the rainfall, whatever the quantity that is increased, it may fall more on the sea surface rather than on the land surface. So that is the distribution is being affected. So more intensity of the rainfalls. So these are the observed situation, and many times it has also become more difficult to extrapolate the consequences of climate change. So consequences of the climate change include even in terms of the shifting of the winds also. So wind movement is also one of the most important parameter to be considered, because after all the entire globe, the beauty of the present natural system is nature is taking care of the distribution of all the resources in the form of wind and also in the form of the distribution of the water. That is the beauty of the nature, and this parameter of climate change is going to disturb that also. We have already seen discussed about the different winds that are existing in the globe, and these winds, whatever the localized winds are there, they may drift from one locality to the other locality, bringing in the different form of the rainfalls. We are also already noticing the effects in terms of El Nino effect, etc., or monsoon effect, etc. So these are certain consequences of the climate change. So directly it may not make a big difference for the agriculture, but over a longer period of time, when you consider the other parameters of the globe or other stakeholders of the globe for climate change, agriculture is persons involved in agriculture also big stakeholders, but along with us the main stakeholders are the normal civilians of the climate change. So we are already seeing the many cities being polluted. So we are also making we have got our own apprehensions of the climate change and how it is going to affect. So here, as a scientific community of the agriculture, we need to understand two things. So how to overcome the climate change, that is how to find out the varieties or find out the crops which are resilient to the climate change. So there our efforts are being done in terms of the research. So we call that as a crop resilient to that of the climate change. So it is a very big subject, and many of the experiments have been conducted all over the globe, including our National Institutes of Crida, etc. So likewise, and similarly, so this phenomenon is one. The second phenomenon is how the productivity has to be marginalized, that is declining productivity has to be marginalized the rate of decline has to be marginalized in terms of the efforts we make in terms of other parameters of increase. So, there are the important concept of the microclimate control has come into nature, and here we are trying to make an attempt towards production of the crops under controlled conditions, but we have to look for it and how economically it is viable in nature, etc. So, these are the very big aspects to be discussed with regard to that of climate change. So, for an agriculture graduate, we need to take care of the importance of the climate change, because it is going to affect our agriculture directly, because so the first school of thought that is going to increase the productivity can be disqualified, no doubt about that, but it is also going to affect the weather parameters. So, these are the small things which are going to influence our agriculture.